But I think the main things is at the end of the day, volleyball is volleyball. It's in the same 9x9 court, and the rules are the same. So we. Is that on the back of your shirt?
Yeah, it's on the back of the shirt.
Beauty. A little free shout out for you. And it doesn't matter who's on the other side of the net. You need to still execute to the best of your ability if you want a chance to win.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. It is 2024, and welcome to the 9x9. This is the 81 square meters of the best volleyball on the internet. My name is Everett Delorme, joined as always by Mr. Rob St. Clair from Chicago. Rob, it's another year, and we're not any smarter. We're here back to talk about volleyball. We just finished what was a great afternoon for us North American watchers, watching some Coppa Italia, and that's what we're going to talk about today, pretty much, and get into a few other things. But let's just jump right into it. First and foremost, Rob, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, boys and girls. Thanks for bearing with us on our flexible schedule today because of the banger day of matches that we had. 3 of the 4 Coppa Italia quarterfinals on the men's side are in the books.
Let's go.
We didn't really know exactly when the show was going to start because we were waiting so long for a barn burner between Piacenza and Milano. Milano wins that one 3-2. Trentino 3-dongs Verona, and Monza gets revenge against Lube from over the weekend. So 3 of the semifinalists are set. Perugia versus Modena tomorrow is the last one. And this was a very, very fun afternoon of volleyball.
Yeah, it was. And I mean, not really what you would expect. You've got Milano and Monza both heading into the semifinals, which is 2 teams that don't really make it there. Of course, Piacenza, winners from last year, won't be there. Lube, who is a perennial powerhouse, won't be there. Of course, Perugia. I think of all of the all of the quarterfinals, Rob, Perugia has the easiest road. But then again, Modena is that one team to beat Trentino this year. So, which one of these matches from today do you want to start with? Let's start with the easiest ones. Let's start with
the easiest one.
Trentino versus Verona. Now, this one was a 3-donging, although Verona was looking like they were threatening later in that match, especially in that third set. They even had the lead for a little bit, but every time Verona pushed it to the next level and upped their game, it didn't take long for Trentino to do the same thing. It was a very business-like approach for the defending champs in this one.
As they so often do. The first set was not even close. It was 25-14, and honestly, it was more lopsided than that. I think it was 20-9 at one point. So that was rough. That was definitely the set that I was paying attention to the least while these 3 matches were going on. Then it got a little bit better. Verona put Namori Keita in for Amin early on in the second set after going down, I think, like 6-1. So things were just not going well. Stoichev, the stooge that he is, made a couple changes. Things started going slightly better. I think the third set was by far the most interesting. 25-23 Trentino ended on a Donovan Javaronok service error. People were making jokes in the Discord that he was sent there by Trentino to be a sleeper agent and let Trentino off the hook with a service error late. Yeah, I don't have that much to say about this match. Trentino's way better than Verona. Trentino's ability to play clean volleyball and bend an opponent to their style is really unmatched, maybe throughout all of volleyball on the planet right now on the club side. And Alessandro Micheletto was brilliant. So we've got some stats. We've got like the FIVB live stats, but not like the full SuperLega stat reports with nice percentages and stuff. So we're going to do our best. But Micheletto had 16, I think. Yeah, Lavia 14, Rikliski 10, and the highest score on Verona was Javaronok with 10. So
Rikliski went 10 for 14 with no errors.
That's rock solid.
That's pretty filthy.
Micheletto 15 for 27, no errors. Lavia 11 for 25, 2 errors.
That's really gross. That's so efficient there by Trentino, and that explains a lot. For me, the big question is why isn't Namori Keita getting the start right off the bat?
Agreed.
Like, why doesn't Verona just go right with him? Now, he wasn't that efficient. He was 8 for 24 with 4 errors. So not the super efficient, but I mean, that's Verona, a textbook Verona little matchup there. But for me, the Rock Mazic really struggling in this one. 3 for 17 with 2 errors. Offensively all around, it's just like you can just tell that when he's on there, they put so much pressure on him in serve receive. Like every team just goes after him. He's really not able to be the player that we expect him to be, especially not in this one. I mean, Trentino was all over him with the block too. It wasn't even close.
Yep. Yeah, Trentino outblocked Verona predictably. Serving numbers were actually pretty similar. Decently clean game from the service line. Just way more unforced attack errors for Verona predictably, and less kills on much lower efficiency. So that was the difference for me. This was it was going to take the best possible Verona effort to make this game at all interesting, and we didn't get anything close to that until the third set. And Trentino, of all teams, is not going to get reverse swept. That is not going to happen to a team like that. So that's kind of the least interesting of the 3 games, and honestly, I don't have that much more to say about it.
No, I mean, it's a good win for Trentino. Super solid.
Yep.
They're showing just exactly what they are.
Yep. Let's move on to a very good one. As Berkai just put in the chat, that was how I was going to lead. 3 years in a row, Lube Civitanova fails to make it out of the quarterfinal of the Coppa Italia. Last 2 years lost to Milano at home. This time they lose to Monza on the road, like 3 days after beating them in the regular season in the league. So a massive revenge game for Monza. They win it 3-1 after dropping the first 33-31. And like I was saying in the Discord, this honestly could have been a 3-dong. If that first set had gone the other way, like Monza was completely in control the rest of the match.
Yeah, it was all Monza. The majority of it. It's just that little blip right there at the end of the first. Lube just kind of snuck in. They got 2 quick points, and they're able to take it home. But this one was another team win by Monza, where everyone was contributing. Arthur Schwartz led the way. He had 24 points, 5 blocks. He was really good.
18
Mar
for 37, only 3 errors. That's a super good, efficient game for Arthur.
Mar was great with 18 as well, and Ryan Takahashi was huge from the baseline with 3 aces, and he went on a few runs to really separate them. It seemed like every time he was going back there, he was always going back for 3 or 4 and really putting Lube under pressure. On the Lube side of things, they struggled offensively, like really struggled offensively.
So many errors.
Lugumgia was making a boatload of errors. Zaitsev was nowhere to be seen. They had tried Yant, they tried Nikolov, they tried Botolo, they tried so many different guys on the left side. It really just wasn't working for Lube on this one. And it was actually probably an easier afternoon for Monza than they would have expected, right? 12 blocks as well. Like they really put on the burners against Lube in this one.
Yeah, so when Monza's been good this year, they've served the ball really well. And when Monza's been bad this year, they've served the ball really poorly. 6 aces to 18 errors is not bad. That ratio is okay, 1-3. The thing here was Lube Civitanova's attacking errors. 25 attacking errors, blocked 12 times, 13 unforced. That is way too many in 4 sets. And that is kind of like the Lube Achilles heel of the last couple years. And like Berkai is saying, I think it's a bit of an overreaction by him because he's not happy that Adas Lagumsha, his Turkish boy, lost this game. But DeCecco did not look good today. Luciano DeCecco did not look good today. He looked old. He looked slow. He looked lazy. We give him a break for that sometimes because it's been a super long year and he's not getting any younger. And, just things are tough out there sometimes when you're DeCecco. But not what you wanted to see out of a guy who is sometimes in the conversation for the best setter in the world in a single elimination situation.
No, not at all. But I feel like DeCecco he hasn't been himself this SuperLega season, right? He hasn't been
since the very beginning, those first great couple games.
Yeah, you're right. Like he really just continues form, but I think it's just fatigue. I really think it's just fatigue, and we saw this quite a bit from this Lube team last year too, right? Where they struggled early on and then and made a nice run to the end. And let's be honest, like Monza has really been their Achilles heel. Monza's won 4 of the last 5 of the meeting of these two, going back a few years now. So this is to me the win last week, which was almost the carb opposite, with Monza winning first and then Lube coming back. That one was almost the anomaly. So I mean, I'm happy to see Monza bounce back and punt Lube out of this competition early. But the 3 in a row does surprise me at first, but now looking back, like that actually makes sense. I do remember talking about it for the past number of years.
Yeah, just big struggle on the wings, or at least on the outside for Lube. Lagumja was all right, 15 for 40 with 8 errors is definitely not efficient enough. But that was at least where some of their scoring was coming from. But Nikolov 13 for 35 errors, Yant off the bench 10 for 23, 4 errors. Ivan Zaitsev, very, very conservative, 7 for 17, 2 errors. And then horrible Mattia Bottolo, 0 for 7 with 2 errors off the bench. Like just nothing going on offense from Lube in any area.
Also, like there was some fun but messy moments in the Monza offense where Cachopa was just running things to Galassi. I thought Galassi had a great game. He was getting big blocks. He
Other
was
than
running
serving the ball
in
into the dead center of the net on every opportunity. But yeah.
He got an ace. Galassi got an ace.
Got one. Good for him.
Yeah, but hey, we talked about Galassi's serving numbers last week. They're pretty atrocious. But yeah, once again, it was a very good all-team effort by Monza. And like when they're playing like that, they're a really tough team to beat.
For sure. Yeah, they're very complete. We've been high on them this year, and not just because they have 3 Canadians on their roster, but it's really up to Monza's serving. If Monza serves the ball poorly, they're not going to win anything. If they serve the ball decently or well, they're going to be very difficult to beat, and that's kind of what I thought about this one. Cachopa doing fun, creative things is always a good time for the viewers. At least there was some seriously weird stuff going on at a couple different points.
Rob, last week we did kind of the all-stars and stuff like that for the SuperLega. Where would you put Cachopa through this point in the season? He didn't get mentioned at all last week. Where would you put him in terms of setters?
Third at best. It definitely goes Spertoli, then Ginelli. Okay. Then after that, I would still probably even say DeCecco. Okay. Then I'd say Cachopa is right about in the same spot as like him, Brizard, and Porro. But they're all good at different things. Like Porro is actually a very good all-around player. We'll talk about him in a minute. Brizard
is a fantastic volleyball player.
Definitely.
Like you can just tell, like he makes certain plays, non-setting plays, but he's not setting plays. But non-setting plays, his play away from the ball sometimes, the way he digs, the way he moves is really good. There was a few moments today that I was really impressed with Porro. So do we just want to jump in right like that?
Let's do it. Yeah, Milano versus Piacenza, super fun setter matchup. Those two guys, I do think that Porro and Brizard are actually kind of similar stylistically. Brizard more physical, a little bit bigger, definitely more experienced, but both of the guys, like you said, are good away from the ball and good at those non-setter plays. And also we had the Simone versus Loser matchup head-to-head, like our two clear, like Love far that. And away, 2 best middle blockers in the league so far this year. 22-20. Milano wins in the 5th set, and a barn burner with so many match points in both directions.
Yeah, this one was really tough to tell where it was going to go. At times I thought it was Piacenza, other times I thought it was Milano. It was really back and forth one. I mean, I thought Milano, like they were running, looked like they were starting to run away with it a little bit in the 4th, and then Piacenza was able to pick it up. So this one was all over the place. At the end of the day, I don't know if either of these teams deserve to win. This one was this one was a bit of an ugly one. At one point, like Milano won the 1st set, and their hitting was like at 37%.
Yikes! Yeah, that's not ideal. There were not a bunch of good individual attacking performance in this game, to say the least. I mean, Piacenza got destroyed in the 1st set, and they were down early in the 2nd. And I even said in the Discord, like, this is a 3-0 unless something drastic changes. And Yuri Romano, who is one of the biggest culprits of being bad, 1 for 10 with 5 errors. Yikes. Was benched for Fabrizio Gironi, who, to his credit, came off the bench and played awesome. 16 for 29 with only 3 errors is very, very good. The problem was that the entire fifth set, even that deep overtime, I don't know if Gironi got a single ball. He actually served okay, but I don't know if he got set a single time until the very, very last point when Brizard set him twice. First time he got dug, the second time he got housed to lose the match. And I just didn't like that management of the offense and of the game flow with how Gironi had been playing and then giving him such a long break. But I do give him credit for coming off the bench and playing well, because if Piacenza had kept Romano in there, this would have been a 3-0 loss for sure.
Yeah, I mean, Romano really, really bad.
Terrible.
And we know that like he can be bad at times. Like this is not uncommon for Romano, unfortunately. And I know he's just coming back from injury, but it was a little bit ugly. But to their credit, to an Anastasi's credit, they pulled him early, pulled him quickly, and brought in Gironi. And that's when things really changed up. I mean, that first set from Milano, once again, was it like 25-16? Like it was a bit of a beatdown. And once again, Milano hit 37%. That's not good. But Piacenza does have that ability to come back and to make things interesting. But I just would love to see them. Like, I almost had a feeling in the pit of my stomach that Milano was going to be able to come back and win it. Like, even when Piacenza was holding match points, it's just Piacenza is just flaky with it. There's a reason we call it being Piacenza.
Yeah, the verb Piacenza in the Discord is used when a ball hits the ground that it absolutely shouldn't. When Piacenza should have won that match in the fifth a handful of times. When they got Milano trapped in rotation one there late, and Ferre Regers hit one of his like 7 unforced errors out of bounds in the exact same situation, like across his body down the line out of bounds, made that exact error, and then had like a two-handed set over way out of system that was right in Lucarelli's lap in position 6, but Sconferla like dove in front of him and threw an arm at it and sent it into the stands. Like, that sort of thing just happens to Piacenza far, far, far too much. Like that play gets made by every other team in the league, even Catania, and I just don't really understand that piece of it.
They're missing that one grinder, like that one kind of player who's willing to do everything and will play at all levels.
So I think that's Lucarelli. And I think Lucarelli does that for them. And I think that he is the grinder and is the guy that does everything. I mean, he led the team in scoring 22 for 38, only 5 errors. And like we don't have passing numbers yet. That stat report isn't finalized, but he is the grinder to me. And that is the guy that even no matter where he is on the court, like match on the line in the fifth, give Lucarelli that ball, not Gironi on the right side. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I mean, hey, Lucarelli had 5 kills in the fifth. And Rob, you're completely right. They went completely away from Gironi in that fifth set. But absolutely, like if you're Brizard and you've made that decision that you're basically shelving Gironi in the offense and you need Lucarelli and he's going to be your guy, then you need to go with him, right? And he was perfect. Like he didn't make any errors in the fifth. Fortunately, we can't see the fifth set stats individually. But at this point, they should have just gone with him.
I think we can actually. Lucarelli 5 for 8 with 1 error in the fifth. Recine 3 for 7, 2 errors. Gironi had 3 attempts. 1 was a kill early, and 2 was an attempt, and then getting blocked to lose the match late. But I'm with you. I want to see Lucarelli get that ball in the clutch. He's the guy. Without Yoandi Leal available, like he's going to be that guy. Also, we got to talk about Piacenza's serving. 8 aces, 23 service errors.
Honestly, over
7 to 15 for Milano. It's very good.
7-15 for Milano is outstanding over 5 sets.
Yeah,
that's crazy good. Because I'm going to say, like, what would you say? It was 8 for 23, 8 for 24. Yeah. I don't think that's terrible from Piacenza, to be honest. Yeah. Over the course of 5 sets, like that's not brutal. How we've seen teams miss over 20 serves this year, like
in 3 sets.
In 3 sets, right? So
yeah, Monza's done a couple times.
Right, and that's not a disgusting like serve to error ratio.
Yeah, but when they're getting outserved by so much by Milano, it looks worse. Yeah, Milano 7 aces, 15 errors, I think is a lot of what kept him in this game because, I mean, Ishikawa had the run in the first that separated it. Poro had 4 aces. He led the team in aces, and that's kind of what we're talking about.
Once again, like Poro, like somebody in this said that Porro had 16 digs today as well too.
That's
which
sick.
I fully,
Tell me where
which I
where are
fully,
you getting dig stats? Because I
yeah.
want to see wherever that comes
Who
from.
said that actually? Where
Our friend
are you?
Vertex. Wherever you got those dig stats, put the link in the chat because I want to check
Yeah.
it out. But yeah, I mean, like we're saying, both Porro dug a lot of balls. I thought Brizard dug a lot of balls. Like Brizard
Yeah.
dug a ball that won them the fourth set, Piacenza, I think, which is impressive. But Milano's offense was not that good today, and I did not think Paulo Porro set the best game. He influenced the game positively in a lot of other ways, blocking, serving, digging, attacking, but did not set as good of a game as I think he could have.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I didn't watch enough of this game to like fully watch like. It wasn't until the end of the other games that I started watching this one much more. I think he was all right, but you're right, like sometimes Porro gets into a flow where it's just there's a lot of magic going on, and there wasn't a lot of magic today. Like I thought, like Ishikawa was off the net a lot, and I thought Ishikawa was looking for hands quite a bit and being really good at it.
Yeah, there were some left side misconnects that I saw, some right side balls to riggers that were way too far off the net, especially out of the back row. So that back set location still needs to be cleaned up a bit. But I also wanted to shout out Agustin Loser, 12 for 15 attacking, no errors, absolutely textbook, plus 4 blocks. So he very thoroughly outplayed Robert Lenny Simone in that one-on-one battle. Let me see, what did Simone do? 7 for 13, 1 error. Good number of continuations, and Simone 3 blocks. And how about serving? 1 ace for Simone and 0 for Loser, but only 2 errors on 21 attempts. So he generated runs decently well.
Okay. Wow. Yeah, I would like to see Porro, like we just talked about Porro in the offense. If Loser is being that efficient, then I want to see him get more volume.
Yep, agreed.
And I think that especially early on, I didn't look at their passing numbers afterwards, or somebody in the Discord was dropping their stats, their passing stats. I'm not entirely sure how, but saying that they were passing very efficiently in that first set, and the setting just wasn't quite there for the offense. So if they can clean that up, they can obviously get this in.
Ooh, I just checked just now, and the official SuperLega stat reports are in.
Oh,
We've got a little bit more data. We at least have passing numbers now. Piacenza 28% perfect, 51% positive is pretty good. Milano 28% perfect, 44% positive, also not bad. That's pretty balanced. Milano outblocked Piacenza 12-7. Yeah, those ace to error ratios are the same as what we said with the FIVB stats. Okay, so yeah, we get a little bit more detail there. 12 unforced errors for Piacenza attacking, only 8 for Milano. That helps. But I mean, the entertainment value of this game was pretty much off the charts. It was sloppy in a fun way, and it was unpredictable in a very fun way. And I mean, you're never going to complain as a volleyball fan about 22-20 in the 5th. So this was a blast, and it sets up very nicely for tomorrow, because you and I, Everett, both definitely expect Perugia to beat Modena. We're going to get Perugia versus Milano in all likelihood in the semifinal, and that's going to be awesome.
That is going to be awesome, especially, not only did Milano beat them last year, they beat them earlier this season as well, too. Just like we talked about Monza having Lube's number, Milano has definitely had Perugia's number, and that will be a very interesting one. It's not going to happen for a little bit, though, right? Like the next Coppa Italia, Final Four is until the end of January.
Right.
27th, it's the 27th to 28th is the Final Four, so we'll get semis and then finals.
Okay, yeah, so we got a couple weeks. Perugia Modena is tomorrow at 2:30 p.m. Eastern, I believe.
Yeah, meh.
Yeah, I will be on a plane to Mexico, so I will probably not be watching this. If anything other than a 3-dong happens, I will definitely be surprised. Hey, don't make that face at me. You were in Arizona last week. It's the same thing.
Absolutely not. There was like the nice days. It was 18 degrees Celsius, so it wasn't even super nice. We sat by the pool. We had a little bit of period of time where it was nice to be by the pool.
Speak to me only in freedom units. That's my New Year's resolution for 2024. It will be 72 and sunny every day in Mexico while I'm there.
Yeah, it was definitely not that in Arizona's. It was more in the 50s and 60s.
Well,
So
you can deal with it. So Coppa Italia tomorrow, semis, we'll talk about when they come. Good for Milano, Monza, and Trentino. Thanks for giving us a good afternoon of volleyball. Let's catch up with, we also had a regular season round of SuperLega over the weekend. We can go through that really quick. Let me pull up the stats. What do we have here that was even that interesting? I guess like Lube over Monza and Milano convincingly beating Modena. Well, Lube over Monza, I mean, that was the reverse of the one that we just saw today. And then Milano convincingly beating Modena, but I really didn't see anything else that was that interesting.
I mean, the Lube over Monza to me came down to Monza serving the ball like absolute crap.
4 aces, 24 errors.
You just talked about it. When Monza needs to serve well to give themselves a chance to be good, right? They have so many grinder type guys who are willing to go that extra mile and make the extra play. Like whoever they have on the left side, doesn't matter if it's like Rand and Mar is a perfect duo for that. Like they both just make plays. And they both complement each other really well. And they both play defense, and set up system, and all of these things. So if Monza serves well, it just gives them, they can just put themselves up there to be effective and be good.
Everett, I have a question.
What's your question?
In this game, Lube gave Bartolome Cinignese the day off. He dressed as a libero. He did not start. So that meant Anzani and Diamantini in the middles, which allowed them to put Yant, Nikolov, and Legumja as the wings. What I'm about to say is not a slight against Bartolome Cinignese. It's just a fact of playing the middle blocker position. Is it worth it? Is the difference between Cinignese and like Diamantini, who I would say is the third middle, is that worth it compared to the difference between Yant and either like Zaitsev or Botolo? Because Lube looked so much better with Yant, Nikolov, and Legumja as the wings. And their serving was insanely good. 5 aces, only 7 errors in 4 sets.
I think it's worth it just to give other teams a different look, but also give your team rest, right? Like Zaitsev is an older guy. He's going to need some time off. You know, if you want to take Zaitsev out of the mix, then maybe you do that. Maybe Cinignese needs some time off. You take him out. Having that option is great, because at the end of the day, like I still rate Diamantini. On most teams he starts, right? That's the way I see it with Diamantini. So if you have that ability to bring him into the fold and try out some different things, if you're Blangini, then why not? Like, do it up, give those guys some, and also like if that becomes an effective lineup for you and you can use it in the playoffs, if you use it in Champions League, like I would run with it, especially at this point in the season. Absolutely go with it.
That's kind of
I don't think it's a bad option.
Okay, that's what I was about to say. Is could it maybe be the best option to leave Bartolome Cinignese on the bench? Maybe, because of
it really depends on who you're playing.
Yeah, right? I think just about anyone was going to beat Monza if Monza serves 4 aces to 24 errors, because that's terrible. And honestly, like Anzani and Diamantini were not even that good. They had 5 points combined and hit I think 0 efficiency combined and no blocks. So it wasn't like they were a factor, but it's with the foreigner limit and what it allows Lube to do at the wings that I'm wondering, like, could it maybe be beneficial at least some of the time to leave Cinignese on the bench?
Yeah. Absolutely. I think so. 100%. Like you have the horses. Why not run with them?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, just looking at this stat sheet, I was at the cottage when this game was going on, so I wasn't too coherent. But like if you look at the numbers are terrible. Yeah, if you look at this, was a bad Rand game. Yeah, 6 for 17. His passing was just all right. That's just a bad Rand game. It was a really good Stephen Marr game though. 20 for 33.
Yeah, that's amazing. 6 service errors is too many, but
but he had 2 aces.
Yeah. Arthur, too many errors. DiMartino was good. I actually really like him a lot.
Yeah. Looks like DiMartino and Galassi just beat up Lube in the middle. 23 combined.
Wow, yeah, that's a massive difference. 23 points for the Monza middles compared to 5 for Lube, but
So maybe that's your answer right there,
maybe
Rob,
it is.
right?
Maybe it
That
is.
like the bad serving performance by Monza really covered up not having
Not having Chinese in there. Yeah, that's maybe there is something to that. I think that's about it for that game. Let me quickly look at the Milano Modena stats in case there's anything interesting. I mean, first set was 27-25, and then the rest of it was not close at all. Let's see. Ferry Rager is very good. Yuki Ishikawa, very good. Agustin Loser, very good. 1 to 2 ace to errors for Milano. 5 aces for Ishikawa. That's sick. Modena, good handful of errors, blocked 11 times in 3 sets. Okay, yeah, this all is adding up to a 3-dong to me.
Nice. Oh, then we don't need to talk about it too much.
Nope.
I do want to talk about the PlusLiga though.
Oh, for sure.
Because there has been some fun things going on in the PlusLiga as of recent. I just want to talk about stuff that's happened in 2024 so far. First and foremost, number 1, Varshava falling to Olsztyn on yesterday. That was an absolute big one. Radom picking up a big win to get themselves off the basement. JW over Skra, that's whatever. But then Czestochowa over Gdansk.
Yeah, a lot of surprises to start the calendar year in the PlusLiga. There is definitely an asterisk on Olsztyn versus Warszawa because Jan Firle didn't play.
Ooh,
and
okay.
So because I watched a little bit of this one, yeah. According to now, we'll get to our community sourced mid-season all-star teams of all the different leagues. We'll get to that in a minute on this show, and I'll spoil it for you right now. Jan Firle was voted the first team setter in the entire PlusLiga for the first half of the year. So not having him definitely hurt them, but big week for both Charny Radom and Katowice, both picking up wins, both over Barkom Lviv. So shout outs to Barkom Lviv for donating wins to both of the teams at the bottom of the table. So that could be interesting for the relegation picture. Another thing is that Resovia is playing Luke Lublin right now, which is crazy because it's pretty close to midnight in Poland right now. And Lublin was up 2-0, and they had match points in the third, and it's going to the fifth right now.
I saw that it was going to the fifth.
Yeah. Resovia came back and stole the third 26-24, the fourth 30-28, and it's about to go 5. So we've got like a
barn burn.
Yeah, burning the midnight oil there over in Poland to finish out the day. Zawiercie beat Zaksa earlier today. I watched some of that. That was not really all that competitive. I mean, Zaksa won the third set on a very good Łukasz Kaczmarek performance, but I didn't think Bednar's was very good. They got Kitsigoy back at outside, but he looked like he hadn't played in a while. And
he was 15 for 31.
That's solid.
He was with 35% efficiency, which wasn't bad. 32% efficiency for Kaczmarek. 11 for Pashitsky.
Oof.
He was 2 for 9 in the middle, which is gross.
Well, the area that I did not expect Zaksa to struggle this year was the middle. And without both David Smith and Andreas Takvam, like their third and fourth middles have been rough.
Wiltenberg was pretty good in this one. He was 8 for 11. That's okay. That's all right.
However, the whole Polish channel of the Discord was talking about how Wiltenberg always gets completely exposed blocking against opposing middles. And sure enough, Biniak 9 for 16 and Zaniszczo 4 for 5. So like the Zawiercie middles were just running it down their throats all game.
Zaniszczo also with 5 blocks.
Whew.
Yeah. Not too bad. Kaczmarek had 5 as well. 2 in this one, so that's not too bad. Karl Butrin as well, not too bad. He was 10 for 23. 22% efficient. That's not the greatest there, but
dude, shout out to this Patrick Waba guy because he came off the bench for Trevor Kleveno in the win over JSW like just before New Year's and was really big and I think ended up grabbing an MVP. And then he starts this game to give Kleveno a bit of a break, goes 11 for 22 with 2 blocks and so 13 points for your third outside hitter. Like that's awesome. We talk about the third outside hitter position all the time. Like you need that guy who can come in just once every other game or so for either of your other 2 outside hitters and just be respectable. And it seems like Zawiercie's got that.
Yeah, it definitely seems they seem to be deep.
Yeah,
right? Because
they've got 3 good middles, 3 serviceable outsides at least, and I don't know who their backup opposite is, but Butrin's a workhorse.
Yeah, he is. I'm still not convinced that they're the best team in the PlusLiga, like you said in our preview this year, but I do think that they're solid.
I like them.
I don't know who the best team in the PlusLiga is right now, to be perfectly honest.
So at the top of the standings, that now belongs to JSW by 1 point after Warszaw's loss.
Yeah.
Zawiercie third, barely. Resovia fourth, and Gdansk fifth. But they just lost a weird game. Didn't they lose to Norvid? Yeah, they did. Yesterday. That's very strange.
Częstochowa, man, they've done a really, really good job. They've
Yeah.
done a really good job at being at least relevant. You know,
Right. I haven't looked at the stats yet, but I'm going to call it. I'm about to look at the Norvid Gdansk stats. I'm going to assume that David Dulski had a huge game. Let's see.
I'm already looking at them. So
25, 20 for 32 with 0 errors.
Whoa.
Whoa. Okay, yeah, called that one. That is insanely good.
Wow.
That's insanely
Wow.
20 for 32, 0 errors.
No errors.
That is nasty. Whew. We talked about it in the preview. They got him on loan from Zawiercie, and that might single-handedly keep him in the PlusLiga. Dude, 20 for 32. Come on.
That is all time.
That's special.
Wow.
That's special.
That is like, keep the score sheet, kid, because those are some numbers. Also 3 aces in this one and 2 blocks.
Whew.
He was 3 aces for 3 errors, and he had 23 attempts, like more attempts than anyone in this game. It looks like he was like just feeling himself in this one.
Love it. Good for the kid. Also good for Charney Rodham. We were getting like joke tags in the Discord, like, why aren't you guys doing an emergency podcast? Charney Rodham won their first game at home in 2 years. So we're going to talk about him. Our boy Aquaman, Nikola Melianat's 24 points, 22 for 42, 45% efficiency is awesome. And Everett, Brody Hofer, 15 points, 36% efficiency, passed the ball well, 2 aces. Love to see it. Good for Rodham, man. Good for them.
Yeah, good for Rodham. It's still going to be a tough ride. They're still 2 points back of anyone else, and points are going to be they're still 2 points back of Lube, and points are going to be few and far between for either of these clubs. So the fact that they're able to pick up a big win against a top team, like maybe not a top team, but you're still picking up a win. That's good, great for them.
Big couple games coming up. It looks like the 3 teams at the bottom of the table, Katowice, Cooper Lubin, and Charney Rodham, all play each other in the next week or so.
Love that. As you know, we love a good old relegation battle over here on the 9x9.
Love a relegation battle.
Yeah.
Let me look at the Olsztyn versus Warszawa stats really quick, because I watched it. I know that Firle wasn't available, but
20 points for Alan Souza.
Ooh.
15 for 28.
That's what we like to see.
That's not too bad at all, with 3 blocks and 2 aces.
Manuel Armoa got some action. 9 points on 6 for 15.
Love to see that. Actually, I did see that. Who was posting about that?
Oh, yeah. Looks like he came in for Karlitzek. Nico Sherzhin got the game off. This Kamil Shimender, a guy who I haven't seen before, started it outside. Also, we'll talk about it again, is our mid-season awards in a second. But Kuba Havrluk, this libero on Olsztyn, is must-watch. If you haven't watched this kid yet, he was one of the most talked about libero prospects in all of volleyball over the last couple of years, and he is worth every bit of that hype. Kid's really, really good. Go check him out. I think he's like 21. He's awesome.
Love that. Yeah, you can just see how low the numbers are in this one for Warszawa. 27% efficiency, which is not great.
Yeah, but I mean, backup setters, it's tough. It's tough when you are missing your normal quarterback, you know.
Yeah, especially a guy like Firle. And I love that he was named the top setter for Poland by our Polish server, because he's a guy that we got to see 2 years ago at the VNL and loved.
Yep.
Right. To both of us, we think he should be S2 for Poland.
Oh, 100% agree. Yeah, it should be Janusz and then Firle, and
without a doubt.
I hope that Firle's the season that he's having is very high on Nikola Grbić's radar, so that he doesn't keep giving a pity spot to Grzegorz Łomacz. And maybe Firle can go to the Olympics, because I think that he adds a lot more value to that roster.
Yeah, 100%. Absolutely agree.
All right, we've alluded to our mid-season awards as chosen on by the community a couple times, but before we get to that, two things, Everett. The first is that volleyballstore.com, let the people know.
Absolutely. If you guys head over to that volleyball.store, use the code SPICY, you're going to get 15% off your entire order. We got some new stuff over there, including the Where's Daddy series, those beautiful, beautiful t-shirts and sweaters and hoodies and long sleeves with that beautiful man hiding in the V. If you're a fan of the game Where's Daddy here on this show, you might want to pick that up for yourself, you know? And
if you're a fan of that beautiful man, and why wouldn't you be?
Exactly. I want to see this in some drop-in gyms around the nation. Okay.
Around the world, around my nation too.
Absolutely.
You can also get this. Everett and I are matching with the 9x9 squared logo. Can't say enough about this. I mean, the t-shirt quality as well. And I have the same green crew neck that Everett has, and it's awesome. My
cousin stole this one from me for a while, and I was very happy to find it again. So big shout out to Maeve for giving me my sweater back. But yeah, head over to thatvolleyballstore.com. It's actually starting to flow now better. I'm not just reverting to the old one.
Yep, 15% off. Use the promo code SPICY, all caps. And now, of course, it's time for Where's Daddy? We got to talk about Daddy Stankovic, as he is hidden somewhere in every episode of the show. It's a new year, and we're still pumping out this man as best we can because he's the best. So Daddy Stankovic is hidden somewhere, and if you find him and comment the timestamp in the show of where he is in the main YouTube comment section after the live stream is over, then you get a shout out. And last week we were talking about the Coppa Italia draw for the Lega Volley Femminile, and if you look at the dead center of the screen above the logo, there he is. Leaning sideways in all his beauty. So there's Daddy. Several of you found him. Levi Gums found him. Koei Bowie found him. So good job to you guys. You found Daddy. Same goes for this episode. If you find Daddy Stankovic, wait till the show's over and then comment the timestamp of where he is, and you'll get a shout out next week.
Daddy. Daddy. Daddy.
Can't wait to see some Daddy shirts at VNL and such. All right, let's talk about a fun little project that we assigned to the Volleyball Source Discord. If you are not already in our Discord community, get in there immediately. It's the best online chat community for volleyball in the world. So what we did on last week's show, if you missed it, was Everett and I picked our mid-season all-star team for the Italian SuperLega. The guys, like the first team, the first starting seven, and then some superlative awards of just the first half of the club season. You can see them there on the screen. And then we asked you guys in the various channels of the Discord that are even more plugged into the other club leagues than we are to kind of come up with your own lists that are similar, and we put them all together. And so we've actually, including the SuperLega one that we did, we have eight different leagues that we've done mid-season awards for, which is absolutely fantastic. So great job to the community. We appreciate you guys doing this for us.
Yeah, guys like Berkai, Adanos, Peter ER,
Beandog, and some other people for the French league. A handful of our Turkish friends, a whole lot of Polish friends. Tommy Blizzard for the Lega Volley Femminile. Yeah, this is great stuff. We appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Which one do you want to start with, Rob? Do you want to start with the Lega Volley Femminile? We'll start with the Italy, and then, where do you want to start?
The way I've got it laid out, let's go left to right. So let's we already did the SuperLega last week. We won't go over it again, but let's talk about the LNV, or rather the Marmara Spike League in France, as it is now called. And I, as an American fan, am very happy to see a friend of the program, Mr. Out of System Joe Worsley, named of Chaumont as the first team setter and also the MVP of the league for the first half. That's
MVP of the league. Let's go, Joe. Doesn't surprise me though. That man is silky smooth. Love to watch him play. So yeah, love to see it. Ooh.
Sorry, I just pulled up a Discord window so I can get into the conversation that you guys were having about why these awards were given out. So get into all that. Yeah. Shout outs to Beandog, our friend from Finland. Also a pity award for Everett. I'm just kidding. Danny Demyanenko
Pity award.
Danny Demyanenko has been the best middle in the French league this year from Montpellier.
No doubt about it. That's no pity award. Yeah, I mean, if this was done last year, Riley Barnes would probably be on there, but he's just
back, isn't he?
He's just coming back from injury, so I love to see that. I know Tokoing, they lost today, unfortunately, to Pissy Robinson, so they're definitely going to need him back as they continue to fight for a playoff position. But otherwise, we've got Nico Sukkanen out of Finland as outside, Maurice Rijkaard from Germany on the outside, Patrick Indra of Czech as the opposite. No more Hadrav over there for Rob, potentially for the Czech Republic. Rune Fastland of Norway for Tokaing.
What a great name. What a great name that is.
Yeah, Rune Fastland. Love that. And then finally, Franco Massimino from Argentina, from Nantes, rounding out the libero. So big shout out.
I'm not familiar with him, but thanks for putting these lists together. Also, some of our superlative awards. Joe Worsley, the MVP. This Amir Tiziualu guy, I guess, is the backup setter from Montpellier, who's played a good bit and has looked good. Maxime Hervoir is a breakout player. This is actually a guy that I know personally and know
Ohio State guy,
pretty well. Ohio State guy. He was on the second national championship team Ohio State had in, I think, 2017. Another French kid that came over there. So like him and Nico Scherzen were the outsides that year. Then he played for Team LVC a little bit in the early VLA. Then I think like sat the bench in the A League one season in France, played in the B League for a couple years, and now he's like tearing it up for Toulouse. So shout outs to Maxime. He's a great dude. Then this Nathan Canovas guy from Plessy Robinson. I haven't heard of him, but he was ranked the best newcomer and biggest stooge, which parlays into the classic LNV curse. Marcelo Frankowiak, the head coach of Tours, starts the season so badly, then randomly picks up a Champions League win over Resovia, and then to use Beandog's words from the Discord, it's like, sure, let's start the season by losing 8 games in a row as the reigning champ, then suddenly beat Resovia, then refuse to start your only offensive outside hitter the rest of the Champions League games. That sounds like some stooge behavior, so a well-deserved award on that one.
Okay, there we go. Love to see that. See, this is why we love the community, because only true fans of a particular league know who the biggest stooge is.
100%. You got to be really plugged in, not to just see the good, but to also see the stoogery. It's very important that we outline the stoogery.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. 100%. All right. That's what we got for France. We're going to move it over to Turkey, and we're going to start with the women. The women of the SuperLega. So first and foremost, Bojana Durca of Fenerbahce getting voted as the number 1 setter in the Sutenlar League.
I like that choice a lot. I think she's been a big improvement over Makris from last year on a team that was already good.
Love that. Great. Second, first outside hitter, Irina Fedoritseva of Fenerbahce, the Russian. No shocker there. And of course, you got two Russians on the left side, which it's weird because there's not many teams right now in the world have Russians players, but it would make sense to Turkey. Marina Markova out of Murat Pasa, the second outside hitter in the All-Star team.
Yeah, she's kind of been maybe the breakout player in all of women's volleyball. Coming out of nowhere, putting up insane numbers from Murat Pasha on the outside, and I had never heard of her coming into this year. And like pretty early on, the Discord was, or our Turkish fans were like, "Yeah, you got to watch this girl because she's sick." So to supplant Gabi Guimarães on a first team outside hitter list is all you need to know. It's very impressive. Tiana Bošković of Adzadžabasha as the opposite, no surprise there at all. And then some middle blockers who I'm not really that familiar with. Bushra Kalacha of Kuzeyboru, and then Deniz Uyanık of Nilüfer. I haven't heard of either of those players. And then Dilek Kunuk at Libero, also of Kuzeyboru. Thank you to our Turkish fans for plugging us those names, because I would have never gotten to those players. So that's why we outsourced it to you guys.
Yeah, not in the slightest at all. So yeah, stoked that you guys were able to come through. I know Berkay was probably one of those guys who led the charge on that one.
Yep. Yeah, we appreciate Berkay. The MVP award in the Sutenlar League so far was split, actually. We had a panel of 4 people getting us this one. 2 voted for Tiana Bošković and 2 voted for Markova. So we can
Okay.
jointly give that one away. Most improved goes to İlkin Aydın of Galatasaray, who's that's not surprising if you watched her on the Turkish national team this summer. Both breakout player and best newcomer goes to Markova, which is not a surprise at all. Comeback player of the year was an award that they voted on on the 2 Turkish leagues, and that goes to Bushra Kalacha, who was pregnant last year, had a baby, and came back and made the dream team in the middle. And then the biggest stooge, apparently it goes to Galatasaray's management. And the reason why, according to Berkay, says they lowered the budget of the women's team to try and focus on the men's side, and their men's team only ranks 4th in the league, so that did not go nearly the way they thought it would with their resources. And then Galatasaray has made a bunch of bad transfer moves on the women's side, and it sounds like their management and their fans have been like fighting online in various circles. So
Sounds like fun.
Yeah, sounds real great over there. Glad I'm not a Galatasaray fan.
Wow. It does seem to me that like usually the Süper Ligi is like 5-6 teams deep, but like Murat Pasa has been really good this year. So is Koziboro as well. The Süper Ligi is really starting to challenge the SuperLega Volley Femminile. The Lega Volley Femminile. I just wish it would be SuperLega. It's so weird why they.
I wish it would be too, but they got to start beating the Turkish teams. Got to start beating the Italian teams in Champions League, which this year they have not done.
This is true. All right, let's move over to the men now. The Everett League. Once again, big shout out to all of the people coming through with this one. First team setter, Murat Yazi Pazar.
Murat Yeni Pazar of Fenerbahce. I've watched this guy I've watched maybe 1 or 2 Fenerbahce games, not much. They've actually got a decent roster this year. They've got Dick Koy, who also was named to the dream team, and they've got Drazen Luburic as well. But in my opinion, just in limited watching, and also in the opinion of our Turkish friends who watch a lot more than me, I think Murat Yeni Pazar is the best Turkish setter. I think he's better than Arslan Ekşi. Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll see if that affects the national team, but he gets a nod on the first half dream team. Matt Anderson is a first team outside hitter. No surprise there. He was also named the MVP of the league by our friends here, and he has been ridiculous, at least in the Champions League games and the couple of Everett League games I've watched. Ziraatbank, Matt looks really as good as he ever has. He's playing so efficient. He's serving the ball great. He's making no errors at all. I certainly love to see it. Now, one that I'm curious about, and I want to hear your take, Everett, is Namir Abdelaziz getting the opposite nod. Do we think he's deserving of this, or should this have gone to either a Drazen Luburic or a Wouter Termat?
It's weird because all I keep seeing on our Turkiye server in the Discord, and all I've seen with my eyes is that Namir Abdelaziz is struggling this year, right? And I've seen him struggle in watching him in Everett League matches and cup matches in the Champions League. It just hasn't been as crisp and clean. However, when you do look at the stats, he does lead the league significantly in points per set at 5.97.
5.97? That's
5.97
ridiculous.
points. And the next guy, and the highest guy is 5.38. So he is absolutely dominating in that area. He's also the second best server in the league, averaging 0.87 aces per set, and has the most amount of aces as well. So by numbers alone, it's hard to make the argument that he, isn't terrible. He's also top 5 for hitting efficiency, for hitting percentage at 59%. He's up there in a lot of different of these categories. And just looking at the stats alone, Wouter Termat isn't really here. He does have 240 points, but he's nowhere near on the points per set ratio. Oh, actually, he's 6th at 4.9. So that's it. Namir is scoring a full point more than Termat right now, a full point more per set right now than Termat.
Dude, 5.9 points per set is ridiculous. That's
exactly.
So, I mean, I guess that makes sense. And that's why we had Turkish people put this list together, not us, because I think both you and I, Everett, were probably we're probably getting distracted by the Champions League results, where Ziraat Bank has been really good and Halkbank has had a harder time. But this is an FLR award, and it seems based on those numbers that Namir was a no-brainer. So thank you guys for putting that together.
So I was a little surprised to see Namir on there as well. But it looks like, hey, he is putting up some of those numbers. Also in the middle, who do they have here? Because it's interesting. Like they've got never mind.
Yeah, so they've got Vahid Emre Savaş from Fenerbahce and this Ertuğrul Gazi Metin guy from Arkas İzmir. I don't know about either of them. I'm kind of surprised that Bediran Bulbul isn't on this list. But again, that's why these guys are watching the league and more than I am. We'll see if any of them have an impact on the national team. And then Volkan Dune of Halkbank is libero is a no-brainer. I think he's been very good in the Champions League games I've watched.
Christian Thondike is averaging almost 3/4 of a block per set.
Christian Thondike is playing in Turkey?
Yeah.
That's news to me.
According to this. I don't know what team this is, though.
Yeah, I didn't know that. Let's see.
Afion Juntas.
Not familiar with him. MVP of the FLR League so far is Matt Anderson. Berkay, I'm glad that you put this in the chat. He says that he watched Anderson live last week playing for Ziraat in person and was even more blown away. And I agree. Everett and I have both gotten to see Matt Anderson a bunch in person, and he is beautiful, man. So good. He's so big. He has a ridiculous arm that doesn't really come across when you watch it on a broadcast, and he has so much range, and he just makes the game look really easy. It's kind of not fair.
Yeah, it is not fair. He's a beautiful man. Okay,
he is a beautiful man.
Yeah. Biggest stooge goes to Glenn Hogue. Which
I was hoping to hear your thoughts on this one. I mean, Arkas İzmir is not good, unfortunately.
No, and I mean, as much as we revere Mr. Hogue in the Canadian system, and he has built everything that we have, I do wonder if it's just been getting to be too much, and has been a little bit too long. Like there is a reason that he's no longer doing the Canadian national team, and I think he pulled himself away at a good time. Like I think if it was up to him, he would have pulled himself away back in 2017, back when Antigua took away the team. But this man is a complete addict, and it's going to take him a lot to take away. So maybe we're seeing kind of the end of his days at Arkas, but I wouldn't be surprised if he had one more stint, for a few years at least at somewhere else. But yeah, I'm not too surprised. Also, at the end of the day, like when you look at Arkas selling Mirza Lagumgia the way they did,
that was
wild. Wild. It was one thing that, like, and I've said this before, it's one thing when he was being rumored to go to Monza, because it's like, okay, like he's going to Italy, that makes perfect sense. But you just gave him to one of the better teams, like one of your direct competitors in the league. Like that made no sense to me. So yeah, it looks like there's a lot of things over there on Arkas that aren't going great. But yeah, I'm not too surprised to see this come up.
Some of the other superlatives, most improved goes to Mirza Lagumgia, just like you just talked about. He has been excellent in limited Champions League play, but he's played a lot in the FLR League because of the foreigner limit. And it was exactly what Halkbank needed after the beginning of their season. Their Turkish outside hitter spot was so bad, and now Lagumgia has made them the best team in the league, in my opinion. We got two breakout players, this Jafir Kirkit guy, and then a Ugandan guy, Daudi Okello. A Ugandan guy is playing in the FLR League. I had no idea about this. I'm glad that this came up, that we got to shout him out at least a little bit. Berkay, tell us something in the chat about this Daudi Okello guy, because I know nothing about him, but a great volleyball player from Uganda is so cool.
Oh, he's played a lot. He's played a lot in Turkey, and he's also played in Korea quite a bit.
Okay, is he an opposite? Yeah, what position?
Opposite, 1995.
Oh, wow. So okay, so he's not even that young. He's like 28.
No, he's been playing professionally. His first year was 2016.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cool. Good for him. Best newcomer in the Everett League goes to Matt Anderson. I don't know if he really counts as a newcomer, even
No.
though it's his first year in Turkey, but far from his first year playing volleyball. I think that, and then comeback player of the year, Efe Mandaraja, finally healthy again after like 3 years. That's good to see.
Yeah. I mean, I would really like to see him, because I know Dan was really high on him, and then all of the whole Turkey sub was high on him. I'd really like to see a flash of something.
I mean, I was really high on him in Eurovolley 2021. I think he was amazing and that was when he was like 19. He was incredible. I was super impressed, and then he didn't play for like 2 full years. Just could not get healthy, almost like a Victor Poletayev situation where he just like could not see the court. So yeah, right. So if he's like playing real minutes, then there's a good chance that he might be a starting outside hitter on the Turkish national team. Like I think like him, Lagumja, and Efe Bayram, like that trio is
that actually sounds like
good.
It actually sounds like a nice little trio.
That is a nice trio.
Yeah, and especially since like on this, like we're seeing names that aren't a part of or as far as we don't know, aren't really a part of the Turkish national team. So it looks like they're coming through with a lot of depth right now.
That's good because they're about to play VNL and they're going to need every bit of depth they can get.
Yeah, I agree. But as I said recently in the Discord that I want Turkey to be good because I think it's good if there's more countries where both the men and the women are at a high level like that.
100%.
It's only going to make it better if the Turkish women is gonna cause so much just weight and gravity for volleyball in that country, and if the men can jump on and be great as well, then that's awesome.
Yep, well said. All right, let's move on. Let's move on to Poland. How about it?
Yeah,
we've been talking about Poland a bit. We'll start on the men's side. Thanks to Adanos and a good number of our Polish crew for putting this together. In the PlusLiga, what I'm very interested in, Everett, is that the entire first team in the PlusLiga is Polish players. There's no shortage of decent foreigners in that league, but every single guy on the first team for the first half of the year is Polish. So it goes Jan Firle at setter, Artel Sharpuk and Tomasz Fornal at the outside, Bartłomiej Bolanj at the opposite, Norbert Huber and Kuba Kochanowski at middles, and Kuba Havrluk of Olsztyn at libero. And that another question is how many of those guys are gonna see any remote time on the Polish national team? This country is nuts. I don't know how they do it.
Yeah. And like I think this is exactly why we've been having that conversation too recently about like to me Norbert Huber has been one of the best middles so far this season of any league, right?
MVP of the league according to our community.
Yeah, I think so too. Like some of the numbers he's been going up, but I still don't think he's a top 3 middle in the world when you look at like the entire grand scope of it. I think he's a top 5 now maybe, but yeah, it's just the quality of this league, and you can't doubt with any of these guys, right? Like Bolaj is never going to get a sniff at the national team. Havrluk, maybe he may be the next big good guy.
I don't think he will because somehow they're still playing Zatorsky over the JSW kid. Why can't I remember his name? Popivchak,
yeah.
Popivchak can't even he makes the roster, but he's not going to go to the Olympics. Havrluk's like the 3rd guy at best, and he's fantastic.
Well, yeah, that's what I think it's more so for the future, looking at like 2028, because he's quite a bit younger than Popivchak, right? For now, we'll play for the national team.
Yep.
Shalpuk, no. Firle, we hope so.
Yeah, and then both the middles certainly will. Yeah, Bolanj is probably the 3rd guy at best. I mean, he was on the roster for Olympic quals because Correct didn't play, but didn't really play that much. And I honestly still might put Butrin over him for the national team. But like you see 3 Warsaw guys. They've had an awesome year. 2 JSW guys, no surprise there. Superlatives, Norbert Huber, the MVP. Remigiusz Kapica, the opposite from Stal Nissa, is most improved, which has been nice because he's been keeping Maciej Buzaj on the bench, which I certainly love to see. Kamil Droshinsky of Gdansk is the breakout player at the setter spot, taking over from Lukas Kampa. Apparently he's been really good. I haven't seen him that much. And then Wojto Kojka, this young Finnish libero, also for Gdansk, taking over from Luke Perry. So part of why Gdansk has been able to retool after losing some really good players and still be, I think they're like 5th in the league right now.
Love that. And then Vito Koika. How
Yeah,
do you pronounce that?
I think it's Koika, but I won't claim to know how to pronounce things in
We'll
Finnish.
we'll have to get Beandog to send us a little of a voice chat there. He's the best newcomer,
Yep.
so maybe we're going to see a bit of a revival to Finnish volleyball. That's there's been 2 Finns on this list.
Yeah, was it Suikonen on Chaumont was up there?
Yeah.
Good for Finland. They were okay at Olympic quals. I thought they were respectable.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up in a world where like Finland was good.
Finland was a World League team. They were good.
Finland was a World League team. They used to beat Canada.
And they had these cool snowflakes on their jerseys. I used to really like them.
Oh yeah.
Remember those?
Oh yeah.
Those were sick. Yeah, they had these 2 brothers. Oivanen, I think.
Yeah, the
Nico
Oivanen.
and Matti Oivanen.
Yeah, the Oivanen
right.
brothers. They were sick.
They were sick. Enough about Finland. Let's talk about the Taron Liga, the Polish Women's League. We don't cover this league that much, except when they occasionally win a meaningful game in Champions League. But a couple good awards here. Marlena Kovalevska of Chemik Police is the first team setter, and Kalandadze of Georgia, a Georgian player on the first team as a first team outside hitter. That's cool. Monica Fiducio of Police is the other first team outside hitter. We saw her a little bit on the national team this summer. Gabriela Orvasova of the Czech Republic is the first team opposite for Zhezhov. Alexander Gricka of Łódź, and Lethal Barbie, of course. Agnieszka Korneluk of Chemik Police.
Lethal Barbie
is the best. We love her. And then Maria Stenzel, the national team libero, is the first team libero. Kovalevska is both the MVP, the first team setter, and the comeback player of the year. Nice season for her.
Why is she coming? What's she coming back from?
I'm not sure, and I'm not going to assume, but there's a chance she may have been pregnant as well, just like one of our previous comeback players.
Love that. I always support the women who go out and pull the Kerry Walsh, take a season off, pop a kid out, go back to playing ball.
At a super high level. It's remarkable.
That's the most respect to that.
100%
is if that's the case. No students in Poland, apparently. You're not.
Yeah, I was disappointed that our Polish friends didn't vote for any stooges. They did vote for most disappointing though. That went to Bartłomiej Lipinski of Skra, not having a good season on the men's side, and the entire Radomka Radom team on the women's side being disappointing. Ooh. So that's kind of close to stoogery.
She wasn't pregnant. So.
Okay, thanks. But I like off-court stoogery. That's kind of what we're looking for.
And it's weird because like I feel like a league like Poland where there actually is media attention and they play on national television, like people know who they are and stuff like that. You would expect there to be more of those types of stories, but there isn't. Unless our Polish Discord members and friends are holding back on us.
Well, we'll probably do this again at the end of the club season, and at that point, they're going to have to give us some Stooge awards.
True. Right. Stooge awards are required.
Okay. Last but not least, we got the Lega Volley Femminile and the men's Bundesliga. Lega Volley Femminile, very few surprises. Joanna Wołosz of Corneliano is the first team setter. Kelsey Robinson is first team outside hitter. She has actually been scoring some points this year, which is great. And then Adelina Ungureanu of Romania. I remember this girl because she came in the league when she was like 18 and was like a backup on Busto Arsizio. And then was the only scorer on Pinerolo last year when they almost got relegated. But now that Pinerolo is good and is like a Coppa Italia team now, she is continuing to get better. And I love this pick because like we've said this year, the women's side right now is kind of lacking well-rounded outside hitters who can pass and also score. And this girl can, and she's only like 21. So check out Annalita Ungureanu if you haven't seen her before. I like this
What's been happening in Romania?
Dude,
because we got this girl, we got Kitigoy. Like it looks like there's some things happening in Romania. Like their men's team had
a good Euro volley. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. So it seems like there's something in the water in Romania. Budapest is rocking for volleyball right now.
Paula Egonu is the first team opposite. Shocker. Sarah Farr of Corneliano is first team middle. Good for her. She's dealt with so many knee injuries. I'm actually kind of surprised she wasn't the comeback player of the year as well. And then Katarina Zakayu of Cyprus, who plays for Chieri, is the first team middle. And then Brenda Castillo, of course. Like she's the best libero on the planet. and
No-brainer.
no brainer.
Yeah.
But what I liked here, yeah, you were about to say Vida Akimova of Novara.
Yeah.
The MVP, but not on the first team. I think that's more of like a traditional interpretation of most valuable because of how bad Novara would be without her.
100%. Novara would be really bad. It's almost sad to see like the fall from grace that we've seen from that club, where they're usually one of the top clubs, and they're just not there.
Well,
but
they hired Bernardi. What do you expect?
they should just listen to our show, right? You want to know what's up? Just listen to our show. Give us a call. Jump into the Discord, and we'll let you know what we think about their coaches. And that's how you should hire your coaches. I actually
did have a guy from Allianz Milano, like a guy that works in their front office, reach out to me, like wanting to chat with us because he said he likes the show. So that was cool. So there are people in meaningful volleyball that watch us. Hopefully they take some of our opinions, but not the others. Some of those superlatives. Emma Graziani in the middle for Firenze is most improved. We already talked about Unguriano as breakout player. I don't know about breakout. She's been better this year, but this is her third year in the league.
Fair.
Avery Skinner of Chieri is the best newcomer. I'm excited to see what her younger sister does as well. And then Carlota Cambi from Pinerolo is the comeback player of the year.
Okay. Love that. And then you have Valfolia. Their entire team is the most disappointing. Roma as the biggest surprise, which I think has to be one of the biggest surprises in all of club volleyball this season.
Agreed.
And then Martina Branchi, the opposite out of Busto, is the best U21 player, which maybe something we need to implement overall in all of our leagues, Rob.
Yeah, I like some of the leagues, or some of our panelists have taken the liberty of adding some awards. I like that. Last but not least is the German men's Bundesliga. The MVP and the first team setter is Johannes Thiele of Berlin, and I completely agree. Eric Rohr of Lüneburg and Tim Karl of Berlin are the outside hitters. This Michael Ayi guy of the Netherlands is the first team opposite from Gießen. I'm not totally familiar with him, but I did see that he played for NAC Roeselare the last couple of years, so I think I kind of recognized him.
Okay.
Then Nehemiah Mota, who's back healthy for Berlin, and then Matt Niggy, the newcomer of the American for Lüneburg. Those are the two middles. And then Sato Tsuiki, the Japanese guy, is the first team libero for Berlin.
Matt Niggy, isn't he a good old VLA guy?
He has played on the dark side a couple times, but he's still a great story because he's
a dark side guy.
He played for this Division III school in upstate New York called Vassar College. Vassar College in Division III, and is one of the best middles in the Bundesliga, like a total grinder, a guy who I have a ton of respect for. So hopefully we get him playing in the Superior League this summer.
Satoshi Tsuki from Japan, the first team libero to Berlin. I'm a little surprised not to see Gage Worsley, but I'm probably just a little influenced by all the by all the clips we see.
Would have been cool if both Gage and Joe had made teams from our community. I think we should have colluded and made that happen.
Yeah, we should have.
Gage, you're probably watching this. Step it up. Catch up to your brother.
I mean, from what I've seen, it looks like he's been doing sick. But...
Yeah, he has. He's been good in Champions League. Eric Rohr's most improved at outside for Lüneburg. I completely agree with that. I think he's been the biggest reason why this particular year's Lüneburg is as good as they are. There's this guy called Philipp John who plays opposite for Hersching, who is the breakout player, which I agree with. And then Matt Niggy, the middle for Lüneburg, as the breakout player or the best newcomer. There's some similarities in those two awards. And Johannes Thiele MVP. And I think that's it, isn't it? I think we covered it.
Yeah, I think that's all of them. If you want us to do your country next time, let us know.
Yep.
And
all this discussion went down in the podcast channel of the Discord. So go check it out for the list. And there were some explanations put in by the panelists if you want to read more through that. And just again, thank you guys so much for putting this together. This was really cool by our community.
Yeah, absolutely love it. And it just gives us such good insight on leagues that we don't necessarily watch all of the time.
Yep, totally. So thank you guys for that. I think that might be a show, Mr. Delorme. First one of the new year.
I think it should be a show as well.
We will let you guys know what the schedule is going to be going forward. We'll let you know about next week and the week after. It's been a weird couple weeks with the new year and the holidays and all that, but hopefully everyone is enjoying 2024. Your calendars are getting a bit back to normal. We will let you know the schedule of the 9x9 going forward, but we will be back every week. There is never a shortage of volleyball to talk about.
Yeah, Rob's going to be roasting on. I hope he's getting sunburnt on the couch or on the beach over in Mexico. Will you be back for a show next week?
I'll be back on Monday,
Okay.
but we'll see about a show because I start my new job on Tuesday, and I don't exactly know what my schedule is going to be yet. So we will figure it out, and we will let you guys know. Anyway, thank you for watching. Happy New Year to all, and we'll see you in the Discord.
Adios. Peace. Happy New Year.